What is self-development? What is the goal of self-development? To be honest, I think self-development falls under so many definitions and categories, and I feel like it means something so different to everyone. It's pretty subjective, but overall, I think it's like in a range of growing self-awareness, trying to improve your life at some point, or like becoming the best and highest version of yourself. Whether it's eating better, going to the gym, getting more routine, like going to therapy, healing, working on relationships, attracting better partners and better people into your life, and affirmations and like all this stuff. There's so many things to self-development. And I think like the overall goal, despite it being so many different things, the overall goal I think really is just to feel fulfillment and satisfaction with your life, and just to feel good about your life. I think everyone is just kind of trying to aim for that. So why do we punish ourselves when the literal goal is to feel good? Hello, my name is Emerson and welcome to Mental Banter. Today I'm going to be talking about the toxic side of self-development, and instead of becoming that girl or the man, I'm going to be talking about becoming you. Now, I am no stranger to that girl because I was her. I remember like a couple of years ago when I guess I was just like in a weird place, or I think I just had like a pretty significant like coming of age transition happen. And I was just in a shit place, and I remember thinking to myself like, fuck this, like I just want to get out of this. Like I had this some type sort of like, I guess, I don't want to say like epiphany, but kind of epiphany where I was just like, fuck this, like I want to do something, or I want to prove something to people, or I want to show everyone that I'm worth something. The only issue is, and I think it's very common in self-development culture, is that everyone else, like they weren't the people that needed convincing. I was trying to prove my worth to everybody else but myself, because I actually didn't believe in it myself. So I was searching for some type of validation from other people, when in reality, I was actually just missing it in myself. And I think that's where self-development can become a little bit dangerous, is when it's driven to prove something to others over ourselves. I hope that makes sense. And I think in like this day and age, like with the media and everything, and of course it's like, it was literally just the new year, it's the perfect time to kind of rebrand yourself, or it's kind of like imposed on us. I feel like it's almost considered a little criminal if you don't invest in a little bit of like self-love or like self-loathe, I guess. And to be honest, I think the world kind of profits off of us disliking ourselves just enough to want to keep on improving. The key word being enough. Like so many businesses rely on us being a little bit insecure about ourselves, like the beauty industry, the wellness industry, the fitness industry, hustle culture, healing, productivity, dating advice, self-help industries, all that shebang. There's always something to fix. There's always like a better version of yourself to become. Well, we're constantly told that anyways. Like literally take me, for example, another YouTuber you're watching for advice. Like I'm not a part of the system. I'm in it. Like I'm a part of it. But in saying that, I want to make a point that this isn't some like wild conspiracy that the world wants us to be miserable, because like a lot of like self-development industries and people and motivators, they do have good intentions and the tools do work, and people do like genuinely like feel better after doing certain things, watching certain things, reading certain things, and do like have a better life. Do not get me wrong, because I think it is important to take care of ourselves and to be ambitious and to have goals and to want to strive to do better, and to make vision boards and to have a productive day here and there. I don't think the problem is necessarily self-development. I think it's the underlying idea that self-love is conditional. It's like chasing the temporary high of being good enough, but never actually reaching enough. Oh man. So the cycle for self-development usually starts when somebody is in a low place or isn't feeling too great about themselves. It could be you've just broken up with your boyfriend or your partner, And like that's always the most common one I feel is when you break up with a partner and it's time to rebrand yourself. And honestly, we're human. It's kind of wired into us to want to improve our lives after breaking up with somebody. But again, it's so common, and I'm like, I can't speak because I've done this before, is when we break up with somebody. But again, we're trying to prove something to our ex-partner when we are living our lives and doing something better with our lives instead of proving it to ourselves. And again, we're human. It's natural for us to want to show off our lives to people who have done us wrong or broken up with us. Like, it's so human. So there's space for that. But I think it's just coming at it from a balanced place instead of entirely just wanting to prove something to somebody, also knowing it within ourselves. So it can start from like the breakup, it can start from getting a bad grade, it can start from just feeling like a lazy bum. Literally scrolling on TikTok and coming across some morning routine of someone making a matcha, and then you're like, fuck it, locked in. Specifically in the media, like our phone is the best way for us to make us feel bad about ourselves, truly. Like, I know that's been told to us so many times, but really, like, every single time we scroll on Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest, it's an opportunity for us to compare ourselves. I could say that I've worked on being more secure in myself and in my life. If I'm exposed to like content every day of unrealistic expectations and standards and unrealistic lifestyles, yada, 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 of course I'm going to start to feel a bit shit about myself. And that's so common amongst everybody else. Like, we're all in this exact same boat, you know, watching health gurus that wake up at 4:30 every day and take an ice bath and drink matchas and, you know, make $10 million just for breathing. I really don't want to sound like a negative Nelly by saying like that's unrealistic, because I know for some people they have achieved that and they've worked hard to have that lifestyle of making a lot of money and, you know, working on themselves. And that's the thing, that could work for them, but that's them. My point is, we're all so different, and the best version of ourselves looks so different to us than to everybody else. Like, my best version of myself is really different to my friend's best version of herself. My best version of myself is really different to my brother's best version of himself. We're all told that we should be striving to be the best and highest version of ourselves, but we're kind of being told to all be the same. And I think society kind of paints a picture that the ideal best version of ourselves is everybody's best version of themselves, and we should live up to that one ideal. Like the ideal of the person who goes to the gym every day, who has a really fit body, who eats this certain amount of calories and has this clear skin and has this healthy hair and is in therapy and is journaling day and night. And as much as like having those goals of having that clear skin, having that healthy hair is, you know, is important, and we should want to look after ourselves, we're all not that person. Does that make sense? Like, we're all not that girl. We can't all be that girl. That girl is one person. We can't all be that person, you know? And it all looks so different for everybody. If we're all striving to be the same, it's boring. No one's stepping outside of the box. No one's differentiating themselves. We all look the same. We're all doing the same things. We're being programmed that if we keep doing these things, we'll be deemed good enough. For example, right? We're given all these different gym programs, workouts, and there's a different body trend every fucking year, God forbid. Having an hourglass body was like deemed the most attractive like a couple of years ago. And then now it's like Pilates princess, like 2000s model vibe, I think. I don't even know. I can't even keep up with it. But the thing is, like, it's a trend, and we're all striving to be this trend at the same time. It's making us fucking depressed. Like, for example, those gym routines might work really well for some girl. Like, some girl, they might feel so good about themselves going to the gym every day. You know, they feel good about themselves. They like that pain that comes along with it. They like that motivation. You know, they thrive off of that routine. They feel like genuinely good about themselves. And it's not coming from a place of negativity. It's coming from a place of, I enjoy this and I enjoy looking after myself, and this is what makes me feel good, and this fits into my life and my routine. That's great. Like, that works for that girl. But for me personally, heavy weightlifting every day, like that doesn't work for me. Like I'm not wired to be that way. And I know hustle culture might have a different opinion on that, and I might be called lazy, and maybe I am a little bit lazy. Maybe I need to be a bit more open-minded. But for me, what works for me, I love my yoga and I love my dancing and I love like my stretching and my flexibility. That's what works for me, and that's what makes me feel good and makes me feel fit and feel good in my body. And that doesn't mean that I'm not living up to this standard of being good enough by doing a different workout. I'm just doing what works for me. I'm not being that girl. I'm being me because this is what works for me. And I think that's what we could all do with our lives, is instead of just following the same routine as every single person in life in general, not even just in the gym, but instead of just following everyone else and being sheep, do what actually works for you. That diet might not actually work for you. That workout might not actually work for you. Do what feels good for you. Rebecca, I'm going to name her Rebecca, who does all those gym routines and feels really good about herself. That is her favorite version of herself. Not best, but favorite. That's what makes her feel good about herself. Get rid of best, because being the best is an illusion. Her favorite version of herself is the person who does go to the gym all the time, and that makes her feel genuinely good. But for me, feeling good about myself is going to the gym every now and then and doing yoga and doing stretching and a little bit of weightlifting here and there, because I know it's good for me. But overall, that's what makes me feel good about myself. My point being, everyone is in their own journey, so you shouldn't really be like letting other people tell you how to live your life. It's about just figuring out what works for you and not what works for your next door neighbor. Next phase usually of the self-development cycle is like the motivation period, and this is usually like when you're on a really nice high and you're feeling really good about yourself. So you got your vision boards done, you got the Pinterest boards created, you bought the new gym set, you got your diet plan all sorted out for yourself, bought the self-help books and you're starting to read them and you're feeling really good about yourself. Like this is the peak period that I feel like we all get kind of trapped into. You have your alarm set for 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, you're going to go on a run and drink a green juice. And you're feeling really good about yourself, right? The taking action period, you've done it, you've got up once, you've gone on a run, and you feel really good about yourself, feeling accomplished and satisfied. And that confidence is good. Like that confidence that you've done something that you wanted to do is also very beneficial for ourselves. As of right then, you're on your way to being the best and highest version of yourself. But how high can you go? After doing this for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, whatever, getting into that routine, it doesn't satisfy that feeling. It doesn't satisfy that void that it did initially. And now you're craving more because you're still being told by your TikTok feed, by getting into self-development culture, yada, yada, that you're still not making enough, still not doing enough, still not enough. Now that you've immersed yourself in it, there's not much going back. Now you've done the basics. Now there's more and more to come. It can feel exciting, but beneath all of that, it becomes our belief system that if we are not constantly improving or getting better, then we are not good enough. If I'm not grinding 24/7, then I am failing. And if I don't take a fucking ice bath, I am deemed unworthy. This is the core thing. Your self-development inspiration is coming from a place of not liking yourself or not believing in yourself. You're constantly going to be chasing that temporary high of feeling good about yourself, but keyword chasing, because it never feels enough, it never feels good enough. We're constantly being told, and it's being imposed enough, that we aren't doing enough or good enough. Therefore, your self-love becomes conditional. So now, we're going to be redefining what self-development actually is, because again, I don't think self-development is actually a problem. I don't think wanting to improve your life is the problem. I think it's the underlying baggage that comes along with it that can be the issue in some cases. Mission should be to redefine what self-development actually looks like for us. Again, tying it back to not becoming everybody else or becoming that girl, but becoming us. What works for us? I think real self-development is fucking up every now and then, making a mistake, saying the wrong thing and learning from it, or not, and then doing it again and then learning from it. It's allowing yourself to have a sleep in here and there and to get enough sleep. And if your alarm goes off at 5 a.m. and you actually just don't feel good about it, then don't always force yourself to do it. I think a bit of healthy discipline here and there and pushing ourselves to do something that we didn't think we could do is important. But again, what's the mantra that we're saying in our heads? Is it, come on, I gotta do this, otherwise I'm gonna feel so guilty if I don't do this. I'm gonna not like myself if I don't do this. Or is it, come on, let's do this. I know it might be hard. I know it might be challenging, but I want to show myself that I'm capable. Not show anybody else. I want to show myself. That's the core difference here. Are we showing it to ourselves or to other people? Or are we doing this because we want to feel good about ourselves? Or are we doing this because we don't want to not feel good about ourselves? Am I going to treat myself the same if I don't do this thing? If I miss that workout, am I going to punish myself? If I make a mistake, am I going to punish myself? If I, God forbid, have a chocolate bar, am I going to punish myself for it? No. This is the thing. Self-love isn't conditional when it comes to self-development. Self-love is when you love yourself either way. But at the end of the day, no one ever got anywhere hating themselves. They might look like they've gotten somewhere. People who go out there and look like they've done something, they still come back home, back to themselves, and are still unhappy with themselves. You can run away as fast as you can from what you try to discern about yourself and what you don't like about yourself by trying to cover it up and do different things and be a different person and yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, if it's coming from the wrong place, you're always going to circle back to that person and have to face yourself eventually. And you have to learn to love that, those parts of yourself that you might not like that much, for you to be able to work on them and to improve them. You can't just instantly run away from it and just expect that it's going to go away, because you're always going to be there. That's the thing. Those thoughts, those unhealed versions of yourselves, yada, 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 are always going to be there. So it's either you learn to love them and you can work on them to feel better about yourself, or you can learn to hate them and run away from them by trying to mask it as self-love, when in reality it's self-loathe. Self-development can look like so many different things as well. I think self-development is sleeping in when you need to, having your favourite breakfast here and there, and going out and buying yourself a $12 coffee, and going to the beach and wearing the same outfit that you wore yesterday, and hanging out with friends and family, and moving your body by doing things you enjoy, and nurturing your creative interests, and then going out and drinking some wine and dancing with your friends and, having a cigarette, whatever. Like, the thing is, it's all so different for everybody. For other people, it could look like waking up at 7 a.m. and going on a run and going to work, but then also just coming home and reading a book, and then seeing friends, and then calling up an ex-boyfriend that you're not supposed to be calling, only to realize why you broke up with them in the first place. And there you learn a lesson. You feel bad about it, but you learned that you're not going to go back to them anymore. I'm always going to circle back to, you shouldn't want to become that girl, because that girl that girl doesn't exist. There's always going to be that little thing coming from that girl that you are not doing enough. So instead of trying to become that girl, try to become you. I think overall, when we approach self-development and wanting to improve ourselves, what is the root? Is it coming from a place of love, or is it coming from a place of, I need fixing? Next time you set your alarm early and try to rebrand yourself for the 70th time, is it coming from a place of, I'm behind, I need to do something, I'm not doing enough? Or is it coming from a place of, I actually want to look after myself and be my favorite version of myself over becoming this ideal, that girl? And sometimes it's hard to come from a place always of self-love and from liking ourselves, especially if initially we don't feel like we have any and we're doing this to gain that. Sometimes chucking yourself in the deep end and doing something hard and being a bit disciplined is good as well. Overall, I've learned from my experience and from what I've talked to about with so many other people, is that I know I am so much happier now living the way that I am now, where I have, healthy goals for myself, and I have healthy discipline, and I have days where I don't feel like doing it, and I have days where I do, but I know that I enjoy this way of living so much more than I did when I was striving to be that girl.
because behind all of me being busy and going to the gym and doing this and watching, I used to watch a self-development video every single day while getting ready for school, a different topic every day. I used to study all these notes about it. Like, I kid you not. And in ways, I learned so much about stuff as well. And I'm not disregarding that because I learned so much about what I already know to this day. But the thing is, it wasn't healthy. It got to a point where it wasn't healthy because if I didn't do it, I would feel guilty and I would feel shit about myself. When now I do this stuff because I want to, because I want to learn stuff, not because I have to. I journal because I want to, not because I have to. And it's no longer an aesthetic thing, you know. It can look like whatever to anybody else, you know. I think it's learning to try and not perform. And if it feels right for you, do what feels right for you. And not trying to conform yourself into this one identity of being that girl or the man, but about being yourself. And I know it's so cliche and I've repeated it the whole time, but maybe also a part of it is actually learning who you are. Not what society wants you to be and not what that girl wants you to be, but what you want to be and what you want to do with yourself. Do you actually want to grow a massive ass, or are you being told that that's the only way you can be attractive? Reassess, ladies. Anyways, I love you guys, and that was the first episode of Mental Banter. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Cheers. Bye bye.